Budget 2026-27 is finally here, and we had an eminent list of experts from FICCI joining us on the highlights of Budget 2026-27. My colleague Charu Singh spoke to Anand Goenka, Puneet Dalmia and Sandeep Somani in this exclusive chat. Listen in.
Now that the much anticipated budget speech is over, it becomes important to understand the fine print a little better. And to do so, we have some industry experts with us. We have with us the President of FICCI, Mr. Anand Goenka. We have the Vice President of FICCI, Mr. Puneet Dalmia. And we also have the past President of FICCI, Mr. Sandeep Somani. So, welcome to our panel. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So, Mr. Goenka, let's start with you. What do you make of the budget this year? What are your, primary point of views and considerations once you have heard the speech?
I'd say this is a budget of continuity. The government has continuously stressed on focus areas such as infrastructure, continued focus on reform, particularly in the last 2 years' time, and finally, I'd say on manufacturing focus. All these areas have been given adequate thrust, with a great balance of inclusivity and focus on youth. So this is what really stands out for me, where they've done a great balancing act, and on the manufacturing side particularly, a great balance of areas of strategic focus such as semiconductors, rare earths, electronic manufacturing, as well as labor-intensive sectors such as textiles, apparel, shoes, etc.
Mr. Dalmia, if I ask you, what does the budget really do for consumption? I mean, I understand that there are sector-specific points, but what does it do to really boost consumption and the overall economy?
I think on the consumption side, government has already done a lot. They reduced GST, a few months ago, and it's already playing out. I think even though there's a reduction in GST, I believe that the January collections are close to 2 lakh crores. So the volume of consumption has offset the rate reduction already. I also think that they've reduced income tax rates, the tax-free slab quite a lot. So I think both on the tax areas, there was a lot of reduction which will increase more disposable income. But I think to me, the larger aspect of this budget is certainty. India is a space of certainty in an era of unprecedented global chaos and turbulence. I also think that this budget offers a very credible roadmap to strengthen the vision of Viksit Bharat and Atmanirbhar Bharat. And this budget basically has, they have thought about a comprehensive 360-degree roadmap for Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So all families, all communities, all regions. I mean, there is things for cities, there is things for rural areas. There is things for women, there is things for rural, there is things for Yuva Shakti. There are, things for manufacturing, to ensure that the traditional sector grows. There is things for SMEs. And I think most importantly, finally, they take advantage of the emerging trends in the world. So the EU FTA has been just signed, and there's stuff for textiles, marines, and leather. There are AI and technologies, shaping the world. So there's a policy for data centers. So I think apart from keeping the, vision intact and placing building blocks in place, they are also leveraging the current environment and creating a climate which can attract capital to India and create a long-term vision for sustained growth.
And just talking about that, if Mr. Somani, you could shed some more light on that. What do you really think is going to boost the investment side of it, global investment? Because we just spoke about the data centers also, and there's a lot of focus on AI and also, in IFSC centers also, that more investment should come, and for some more years we've been given some sort of concessions. What do you think the investment picture for India looks like after this budget?
So I think if you take a long-term perspective, India is among the preferred investment destinations for two reasons. One, we are competitive in manufacturing, and we are further going to become more competitive from various measures that the government has taken: improved infrastructure, more access to airports, railways, fast-speed trains, waterways that has been announced today. They will all improve our competitiveness as a country. The second reason is we have a very large domestic market, among the largest in the world. So anybody who's anybody in the world has to come to India if they want to expand their global footprint. India is the most populous country in the world today, over 145 crore Indians today. So I think from a point of view of consumption, India is a center of attraction for every company in the world from every geography. And to simulate that, I think government has done a lot of work in the past few years. So FDI limits in most cases have been raised to significant, either you can own 100% of your subsidiary in India, or in some sectors 75 odd percent. So I think a lot of work has been done there. Clearances have been made quicker. Foreign investment is actually being welcomed by all functionaries in the government, because they know it will bring capital to India, give stability to the rupee, and create significant job employment, which is very important for all of us. And it's a focus sector for the government. I think the other thing that, not only this budget, but directionally they've been doing is ease of doing business, decriminalisation, which also this budget has put a lot of thrust on, and making sure that the rules and regulations are transparent and easy to understand. This government has also done a few other things in the past, which has made sure that they have made a roadmap and they stick to the roadmap. So there are no unpleasant surprises or U-turns that the government is taking like we have seen in the past. So business hates uncertainty. They like certainty. And this government has delivered certainty in a way that they promised they deliver. They've made that sure. So I think that has created a good environment for foreigners to come in and invest. It has also created a good environment for Indians to invest. So we can't depend on India progressing only because of foreign capital. All of us entrepreneurs in India are also investing, and that pace of investment is continuing to grow now, because most companies are now at 75-80% capacity utilization. And when you reach that kind of capacity utilization, you invest further in expanding your capacity, either at the same place or at a different location. So I think we are on the right track. India is the fastest growing large economy in the world. Last quarter growth was in excess of 8%. And according to the economic survey, even next year we'll be well over 7%. So I think these are all great signs for a good large economy. We are progressing well.
Now that we've looked at the prawns quite a bit, and we have seen that the promises and allocations span over semiconductors, MSMEs, and several other industries, is there something that the industry had asked for, or you had recommended, which you feel that might not have been looked into? Not as a critique, but still, okay, there are these areas which could have been looked into. Anything like that, sir?
Right, a couple of areas where the government where the speech could elaborate a little bit more. One was on defense spending. There's post-Operation Sindoor, the need to invest more is high. There's a lot of technological change that has happened, drone warfare, and all of that has become more important. So some visibility on that front. And the second that we were just having a conversation about was on climate change. So are there any sustainability, while CCUS was touched upon, but more on sustainability, pollution, and some of these areas, it would have been possibly an opportunity to hear about.
True. So, Mr. Dalmia, do you feel that we know that ease of doing business has been on this government's agenda for a while now, and most of the regulators, be it the Reserve Bank of India or the Securities and Exchange Board of India, everyone is coming out with regulations that is sort of trying to reduce the compliance burden. So, do you see the impact of this deregulation or lack of a compliance burden on the business activities also?
I think there is certainly a lot of listening that the government has on this, and a lot of engagement. Government is looking for very specific ideas, and they listen, they work through it. There are committees formed. In fact, even in Niti Aayog now there's a committee under the ex-cabinet secretary which is looking at ease of doing business. FICCI has given a lot of ideas, over 3,000 ideas, and Sandeep is the chairman of that committee for ease of doing business. We definitely see some progress, but I think as entrepreneurs, we are always restless. We want more quickly. And I think in this budget, already we are seeing a lot of announcements on tax simplification. Like, for overseas Indians, TDS reductions have been simplified. There is also, if you forgot to disclose assets overseas, there is some thing in that. Even for exporters, I think it's becoming a much more easier code. So I think this government is doing a lot for simplification. But this is a journey. I think we have to go deeper and we have to go faster.
You feel more can be done in terms of deregulation?
I think more can be done, absolutely. And every year they do more. And they, as I said, every regulator has a committee, and even Niti Aayog now has a committee which is looking into it, and you have to balance a lot of things as government. So it's not an easy exercise, because just taking one point of view and coming up with an answer is not always, may not be the wise thing to do. It has to have thoughtful application of mind. You have to hear multiple stakeholders. You have to look at what could be the loopholes from a control perspective. So I think a lot of things have to be looked at before a decision is made. And I personally think we are moving towards more transparency, more digital services also. I mean, in the passport office, for example, there is a Tatkal service. You get passport very quickly. There is, much more transparency. Mineral resources are being auctioned now. Earlier, it was all allocation. So I think I'm seeing land records are being digitized. So there is a lot of work which is happening, which are enablers to this, which we may not see fruits immediately, like in the next quarter or this year, but over the next few years, I think we will see this very clearly. So the direction is clear. I think we just have to stay the course.
Wonderful. So if I ask you all, any of you can take this question. If I ask you, AI and semiconductor seems to be the areas where the government is really looking. You can see what they are doing for the data centers. They have also promised a really big allocation for semiconductors. What do you see happening in these industries in the next few years?
See, I'll take it. Data centers are a huge opportunity globally. They bring in a lot of money.
And how sustainable it is in terms of data centers also?
So, data centers, India has 145 crore people, right? Data centers do what? They manage data. We have plenty of data flowing through both internal as well as external. So the point is, data centers, rather than India using data centers located abroad, it's a very good proactive policy of the government to locate data centers in India, which creates employment and brings in huge investment. Data centers investments are in the billions of dollars. So I think that is a great move. We will be there. I read a report a few months ago. At some point in a few years, India would have imported more electronics than even petroleum products, which is unimaginable, because we had no infrastructure in India for any electronics. The government got into this, started encouraging electronic manufacturing, assembly in India, put in PLI schemes, which have been hugely successful. You can just see iPhone exports have from zero become billions of dollars from India. Nobody thought iPhones would be exported from India. And I think they are continuing down this path, because the next route, as you backward integrate in electronics, the base is semiconductors. So the government has put in a PLI scheme for semiconductors. They're giving a lot of SOPs in the budget. And this is all efforts in the right direction. We need to have the whole ecosystem. We need to own the ecosystem for the entire electronic value chain. We cannot be dependent on many neighboring countries for imports alone, because we have seen in the recent past that supply chains can be disrupted very badly, and then the economy goes for a toss. So I think it's a very wise move on the part of the government to actually build a whole ecosystem for electronic manufacturing in India, starting from the process A to the process Z. And this is welcome.
Right, sir. So last question to you, Mr. Goenka, as the President, you can answer this. Now the budget is here, the fine print is here, and we have seen the allocations, and we've seen what the government is thinking about. And as all of you gentlemen have already said, that this is some sorts of a direction that the government is taking. So where do you think we are headed, and what would be the industry's expectation going ahead, that, okay, now we are going to be preparing like this, and this is where we see the country's economy in terms of business going ahead?
I think the strongest area for us is our macroeconomics at this point, or macro stability at this point of time. Inflation is in control, balance sheets are delevered, we're in a very comfortable low-risk zone, while the outside world is seeing fair amount of uncertainty. We expect or hope that this continues with the focus on reform, on manufacturing, on infrastructure investment. We would like that just continuity to happen going forward. Some areas that come to mind where the government can continue is, one is the market factor reforms. They've already corrected the labor codes. Now on power would be possibly the next area. We hope that we can bring down power cost, avoid cross-subsidization as another area. And the second is land acquisition as another area of making life easier. And judicial challenges are also high. So to that extent, contract enforcement, releasing the bandwidth of fast decision making would be areas of next reform that we look forward to from business.
Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.